Okay, I'm getting ready to start cheesecake. I want to show you this little thing here. I'm adding this into the video at the beginning. First thing I do with the springform pan is I put a piece of baking paper on the bottom of it, and then I close it on the paper. Then I go around with the scissors and trim it off, except for a little tab. That tab will let me pull the cake when it's done off the pan onto a plate, and then I can cut off the rest of the paper and nobody knows that the cake is sitting on top of a nice paper, and it protects the plate as well. Alright, on to the next step. Oh, and there's the 5 blocks of cheese, of the cream cheese, ready to go. Okay, we're back. Time for part 2 of cheesecake. I know the light is not that good. I actually have a light strapped to my head to try to cast some more light, but it's not shining directly on anything. Anyway, so there's my recipe. Oh, so bad you can't read it. Maybe I'll post it. We'll see. I got some flour. We need a little of that and some sugar. Let me just go through the recipe real quick. The crust is actually 2 cups of ground Teddy Grahams, these. And I grind that in this little mini food processor. See, I got my Big Daddy KitchenAid there. I'd be lost without that. Thing's so awesome. And before I used to make cheesecake by hand, whipping it by hand. Now I'm spoiled. So I got my butter. The crust is also going to have 3/4 of a stick of butter melted into the Teddy Grahams, with just a couple tablespoons of sugar to get it going. After I make that, then I make the filling. The filling comprises of these 5 blocks of cream cheese that have been sitting out for a while, getting up to room temperature. Those are going to go in the big mixer, and I'm going to mix in 1 1/3 cups of sugar. The next thing is, after that's beat up a little bit, because the more you beat it, the more air it's going to add, and it comes out really big, which I kind of like my big cheesecakes that are real puffy and real light, but also rich and good. The next thing is 3 tablespoons of flour. That goes into the mix. Then I put in the eggs, 1 at a time, 3 large eggs. And then I put in the sour cream, which is 1/2 cup sour cream. Mix that all together until it's nice and creamy. By this time, oh, almost missed it there. There's 1 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. So the oven's preheated to 325, and there we go, adjust light. It's ready to go. This crust will go in there for 10 minutes. And it'll kind of bake, and the whole family just left to go shopping, so it's great because any kind of movement or loud noises or heavy walking will cause the crust to fall, and that's not cool. So I bake it for 10 minutes, and I take it out, and it cools a little bit. Then it's time to pour the filling in, and then it goes into the 325-degree oven for 1 hour and 15 minutes. After that, put it in the fridge. Let it cool down. So I have a cake container over there that has cake on top of it because it's Thanksgiving time, and bread all around it. That's where I'm going to put my cheesecake. Put it inside there to kind of protect it from anything, and it'll go into one of my crisper drawers. There will be some condensation because it'll be warm, but I prefer to have it a quick cool, because then this tomorrow will slide right off so easy and just come right off. And I'll leave the bottom section in there until we're ready to eat it. And this time I'm not putting a chocolate crust on the top, but if you wanted to, you could melt 8 ounces of semi-sweet melted chocolate, you could melt baking chocolate semi-sweet. You melt that on the stove, mix in 2 tablespoons of butter, then at the end of your mixing process, mix it in with your mix, let it beat, and you will have the most delicious chocolate cheesecake, which I may throw in a picture of the chocolate cheesecake that I already made this week for Thanksgiving. So, on to the next part, and I'll pop in with some more footage then. Okay. I've taken the crumbs and chopped them up, and that's too much light. I've taken the crumbs and chopped them up. Hang on, we'll do that over. So I've taken the crumbs and chopped them up, and then this is why they need to be mixed with the appropriate amount of butter. See how that sticks together like that? That's going in there. Here's another tip. See this tool right here? Best tool ever. Ever. It's the tablespoon measure, and it can also be used as a melon baller. This here, I got a long time ago, back when I used to drink. Let's not look at the Budweiser there. This glass is flat-sided with a very slight taper and has a very flat bottom on it. We're going to use that in here to tamp our sides up, and I'll use that tool, and it'll make the sides perfectly even, and they'll have a slight angle to them, so they'll be a little denser at the bottom than they are at the top to come out with a perfect crust. Alright, the cream cheese is there. I'm not turning it on because it's loud. Once this goes in the oven, I'll mix that up. When you have the leftover cream cheese, here's what you do. You just spread it onto a piece of celery and you snack on that while you're cooking. Alrighty, on to the next phase. Let's see if I can film this in action. So, probably not. I'm happy about my helpers being gone, but as you can see, this tamps it in, and what we get is nice even sides on our crust, because we'll use this glass to tamp it in all nice. Alright, next phase. Here's a quick look. It's with low light conditions, probably spinning so fast you can't see it, but so nice and whipped that is. As adding ingredients, I let it go. They say like 2 to 3 minutes. I let it go 5 or 6 because it's adding air, it's getting fluffiness. It's really ready to go. I'm going to scrape it down one more time, and then in less than 2 minutes the crust will come out, and I'll put it in and bake it. Done. Well, almost done. Here's the crust, all toasty. I'm going to put it on this pan in case there's overflow, which I doubt, but it also makes it easier to take the cake in and out of the oven, and just gives it all around. It's a good idea to put it on a pan. On to the next. Oh, wait. There's more. Look how creamy that is. Creamy goodness. Alright. On to the next phase. Okay. Look at that. Now it's in the crust. So now we just get it to where it starts to flow out, because when I put this in the oven, it's going to flow out on its own. This sometimes people think prevents cracking, to have it all piled up like this, but you know what? I don't really care about cracks, because it still comes out awesome cheesecake. And that's that. Next is the oven, hour and 15 minutes. We'll see how it looks when it comes out. Okay, here we are. This wraps up the video. This is the cheesecake just out of the oven. You can see it's got some cracks. It's going to fall. It'll be a little cracked on top, but it's going to be thick and rich and tasty. So there you go. Real easy to make cheesecake. Better than Chicago style, better than New York style, better than Cheesecake Factory. You can do it. And there's the beast over there talking back. Alright, thanks for watching my videos. Make sure you subscribe.